I think, Jeffrey, we can start, I believe.
Sure.
7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Just a minute, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, but you can mute everybody and you can unmute yourself first.
Okay.
Babu, you joined in from Constantin?
Yeah, Constant, yeah, Germany. It's 5 o'clock. So, but
Thank you.
it's nice to see you, Jeffrey. So happy.
I think everyone is on mute. So I can get started.
You can put mute all if you want.
I don't find that option.
Okay. Now, you can unmute.
All right, I'm good. I'm good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So namaskaram ellarkum. Good evening, CETAAQ. Welcome to yet another session of CeTalks webinar series. Before I introduce the speaker tonight, I hope all of you are in good health and keeping safe. I know we all are going through unprecedented times, but I hope everyone is safe. I think the lovely weather these days have put us all at ease. Anyway, during these testing times of pandemic, mental health and well-being has been a top priority. So is the significance of wellness and leadership in today's competitive and challenging world. It's my pleasure to introduce our special guest, Jessie Jacob, a successful architect from College of Engineering, Trivandrum, 1988 batch, turned into a wellness and leadership coach. And she is the founder of Fit the Soul, with a mission of creating women leaders and helping women reach their full potential. At Fit the Soul, they have various programs that focus on wellness, leadership, and motivation. Jessie is a mentor next door who uplifts women across India by increasing their social capital and creating a community of women that help each other grow stronger and become more independent every day. She is a storyteller, and at Fit the Soul, they have programs to make you an effective speaker and a master storyteller. So ladies, if you want to channel the girl boss in you, we have a CETN to reach out now. Apart from an interesting career, Jessie has some enthralling hobbies as well. She is a trekking enthusiast, fitness freak, and a culinary chef. Let us all welcome Jessie Jacob to the CeTalks webinar. So you can use the emojis on the chat and the reaction button to welcome Jessie virtually. Meanwhile, for Jessie, just to give an insight about CETAAQ, we are a close-knit family of around 400 people. I think TKG can correct me later. But yeah, CETAAQ managing committee typically organize social, educational, recreational, and family events regularly to remain as a vibrant group. And even during the COVID situation, we did some Onam celebration, and you wouldn't believe the Sadhya was delivered at everyone's doorsteps. So this is CETAAQ in a nutshell. Now, I would like to request the chairman of CETAAQ, Thomas K. George, to give a welcome speech. Over to you, TKG.
Yeah. Good evening to all. And thanks to Jeffy for such a wonderful intro. In fact, this has indeed given the perfect beginning to this wonderful evening. As you mentioned, these are really unprecedented times. We have this COVID situation all around. We are indeed going through a tough phase, but hopefully we will be getting through all this As some experts said, maybe this is the end of the pandemic. This is going to be just a flu-like thing in the coming days. During these trying times, we are indeed lucky to have such a versatile guest, somebody to talk. We have a wonderful person, architect Jesse Jacob, who is very much into wellness and health-related subjects. In fact, as you will experience in a short while, this is going to be, you can really experience versatility, the talents and capabilities, what she has gone through, what she has experienced. She has done mountaineering. She has done. She is very much into trekking. In fact, I would say that she has treaded many paths which many of us haven't gone through. So, as already pointed out before, the very idea of this webinars are that very idea is that we are bringing many of our CET graduates who have excelled in other fields, unlike in what they have actually graduated. They have excelled in other fields rather than the discipline or the branch which they have graduated. For example, Jessie, she is an architect. She is a successful architect. She was having a very good career, but she left everything and then she chose her own path. And now she is successful in whatever she is working on. And this is what we were intending by having this CETAAQs, basically to bring in CETians who have excelled in other roles. So in fact, when I was looking for somebody to have our next talk, if you remember, we had our talk last time with Robert Bobby George and Anju Bobby George. After that successful those talks, we were in fact looking for someone to have the next talk, and fortunately I came across a talk of Jesse Jacob in CETA. It was on art of storytelling, and I found it very impressive. In fact, in a very lucid way, she was explaining many of the facets of storytelling in a different way. In fact, after that, I introduced this subject in our MC meeting, and this was discussed. And one of our MC member, management committee member, Sunil Murkanath, he suggested that to talk to Siad Rahim, who is basically her theater partner. In fact, they were having theater together in good old days of CET. And also, Siad is a very close friend of Jessie. So that way, I talked to Jessie, and she was very willing to take up this. I am really thankful to Jessie for coming in on our invitation. And I don't want to go on and talk about many things, but as Jeffy already said, CETAAQ, we are here doing many things. And one of the activity what we have done during this tenure is to have this kind of webinar series, a series of talks, webinars. And also we have many other, we just concluded a quiz competition which went into 10 rounds. So we are into many activities, and I hope, Jesse, your talk will be a real boost to our members, especially during these times. This will be really will be looked into. I invite you for this talk. on behalf of our MC as well as CETAAQ, I hope that you have a wonderful time here during this maybe 1 or 1.5 hours. Over to Jeffy. Thanks.
Thank you, Thomas KG, for the welcome speech. It was really a warm welcome. Now that we have someone in CETAAQ who knows our guest very well, I think it's mandatory to call that person for a felicitation speech. I would like to request Siad Rahim to do the felicitation. Over to you, Siadka.
Okay, thank you, Jeffy. And welcome, Jesse. I hope I don't get switched between Jesse while I do my talk. Anyway, firstly, hello, everyone. What you have just heard from Jeffy and Thomas is a brief introduction to Jesse's achievements. Okay, and I'm sure after Jesse's talk, where she'll give a glimpse into the canvas of her life, which she's painting with such colorful and bold strokes, we will get inspired and rethink the way, the direction of our lives. I'm sure it will come to something like that. But in spite of all her achievements, which you have just got a glimpse into, Jessie is actually a very typical girl next door kind of a person. She is from Mukola in Trivandrum. Until grade 6, she was in St. Thomas School. Then she got a scholarship from the government of India, and then she moved on and did the remaining school life in the prestigious Lawrence School in Ooty. She joined CET in 1983, and in architecture, of course, and she was prime ragging material. For one, she had bob cut short hair, so which was not very common those days, and she used to wear saris to college. So one fine day, all the senior mechs geared her in front of the architecture department and bombarded her with questions. And Jessie stood her ground and answered each and every question, in Pacha Malayalam, to such an extent that one guy finally blurted out, "Ningaliki Lawrence English ondum padipikkarille." So that's what I meant when I said that Jessie is a typical girl next door. See, Jessie in CET was also one of the founding members of Theatre Workshop, where they did a play called Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. And it was not free. They printed and sold tickets, and it was a huge success. Now this Theatre Workshop, he brought in, boys and girls from various branches and batches. And we had such a great time during the show and after the show for the next 2-3 years. I think Theatre Workshop lasted 3 years more after Jessie left, and then it slowly died down, unfortunately. But this has formed a very good group of friends. And I think before the pandemic, and thanks to WhatsApp, now we have a small Pygmalion WhatsApp group. Jessie decided to visit all her friends. So she went, when she was somewhere in the US, she went and visited them. In India, she has traveled and visited friends. And even in Doha, when she passed by and dropped in so that she could just meet everyone. Okay. Another interesting thing about Jessie is that she got married while studying in 3rd year. So to me, she became an auntie while in college itself. And she went for a honeymoon and came back and wrote her 3rd year final exams. And apparently she did very well, topped the class or something. I'm sure her teachers must have been overly kind to her. Jessie's husband, a bit about her personal life. Jessie's husband, Mohan, is a chartered accountant who's got his own firm in Bangalore. Her daughter, Nayanthara, works for Capgemini, and her son, Pranay, who is a budding cinematographer in the US. I'm sure he has a lot of material to make a movie out of Jessie's life itself. Without taking much more of your time, I would like to welcome Jessie and thank her for volunteering to do this talk. Thank you very much, Jessie. Over to you, Jeffy.
Thank you, Siadka, for such a wonderful felicitation and for giving some glimpse of CET life and some personal moments. Amazing. As much as CETAAQ is thrilled to hear from our guest. I think it's without any further ado, may I invite our speaker tonight, architect Jessie Jacob. Please share your breaking career and your journey with us, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you all, CETAAQ Qatar. Really honored to be here and such a pleasure to be back with CETians. And it really gives me a lot of pleasure to see my classmates from Europe and the US all logging in. So I'm just going to start by sharing screen.
Yeah, Jesse, I think you wanted a photo with all the people on the screen, no?
Yep. Okay, all right. Okay, guys. So can we put it back on without the...
Yes, the gallery.
Can we
view.
all come on the screen with our faces? Can we all just show our faces so that we all know who you are and can put a name to a face? Can we take off the spotlight?
Yeah, spotlight is
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
So we have two screens. On the first screen, couple of people are still without faces.
Yeah. But you can see them without the spotlight. For me, I can only see them with
Yes, I can see without spotlight. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So can we all have all your pictures coming in there? Full
Yes.
gallery. Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
I'm
So
going to
can we
click.
all smile for the screen? And that's the welcome that we can give everyone. Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
one
you.
is done.
So there are 3 pages.
Yes. I'm going to save it and then go to the next one. All right. So the second one is here. Yes.
So you want any action to be shown? Something?
Smile, please.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That really helped. So let me now share screen and then let's get started.
So I'm putting Jesse on spotlight. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, guys, can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I run a company called Fit the Soul, and we create women leaders. Okay, and this is while I was trekking Everest Base Camp, and this is the first place that you can actually see Everest behind you. So this is the first viewpoint as you're climbing that you can see the Everest. So this was one of the picture taking spots. So, this is one of our really sacred pictures that we have. So anyway, so let me just go back and see where we're going. Yeah. So this is my family. Siad spoke about it, that my husband Mohan and my daughter Nayanthara, who works for Capgemini, but is in Bangalore right now, leaving for the UK. And my son is in US, and as he said, he is a cinematographer. That's us. So what's my story? So when life serves you lemons, you make lemonade. We can sit and whine and crib and complain that life is being unfair to us. A pandemic is affecting us. Incidentally, my family, whole family right now, we've got COVID. And we had it a year back too. So this is our second phase. I said, well, now we've got a lifetime pass for COVID. So we all got very mild symptoms, and we are in Kunur, Ooty. That's where my in-laws used to live. We have a house here. We came here and we realized that all 3 of us are positive. So we're staying here. We are almost now through, the worst of it is over, and another day or 2 we should test negative. But that's it. So you can either choose to say, oh my God, I got a COVID second time, or you can say, wow, I got COVID and I'm in Kunur, blue skies, green, lush greenery. I can step out into the garden. I don't have to sit in my Bangalore flat. So you can choose to see which side the bread is buttered. And you can also choose to make lemonade. So I choose always to make lemonade. Even when I was ragged in college, I chose to make lemonade. And my life as an architect. As an architect, we were one of the top 5 architects in Bangalore. We were featured in India Today as one of the women czarinas who changed the corporate landscape of Bangalore. Along with me, I have Vinita Bali of Britannia, Meena Ganesh, who's 50 over 50 top in the top 50 Forbes list this year. This is Priya Chetty. So we were in the top rung, and I had 36 people working for me. And then one day, what happened? So my best friend had a cardiac failure at the age of 45. She was my childhood friend. And she was in CCU, and the doctors told her her heart was only pumping 30%. And if she didn't lose weight, her heart wouldn't cope. Another friend of hers called me from Singapore and said, Jessie, when we can, we don't. When we have to, we can't. I was successful as an architect, prosperous both inside and outside. I mean, I was obese, I was unwell inside, and outside, I was all really good. Inside, I wasn't. And that was my waking moment. And I said, okay, I need to do something. I don't want to be there. When, like my friend said, when you have to, you can't. And that's the day I told myself I was going to change my life. I started working out. I started losing weight. In 2 years, I lost 14 kilos. And then I started running with a marathon running group. And after some time, a friend of mine said, oh, why don't we go do some trekking? I said, okay, fine. And I checked out with some trek groups, and somebody recommended this guy called Vikram Mehra very highly. And I said, okay, fine, let's go with him. And we decided to do the Everest Base Camp. What I didn't realize was Everest Base Camp is not a starter trek. And it was my first trek. So when I decided to take a hike, it was really a long hike. This is again Everest Base Camp. You know, just look at this pathway. It just keeps going and going and going. And look at the beautiful mountains. When you are on those mountains, the world stops moving. Everything becomes empty. Your hard disk is emptied and you have a fresh lease to life. And that's when I realized I didn't want to be an architect anymore. I came back. This was April 2014. And that year, December, I closed my practice. And January 2015, I was turning 50. In February, I was turning 50. So 2 months before I turned 50, I closed my practice. Another CET classmate of mine said, Jessie, what do you mean? You'll go into depression. 6 months later, I met Sushil again. And Sushil said, Jessie, you look very happy. I look depressed. I said, yeah, Sushil, that's the story. I look happy because I am happy. What did I do? I decided to change my life one step at a time. So from the age of 45, I started to change my life one step at a time. I lost the weight. I started running. I started trekking. And once I climbed my first mountain, I realized my life was changed forever. And then I closed my practice. I was still running around. I was still climbing mountains, but I didn't know what I was doing with my life. CII, the Confederation of Indian Industry, Bangalore, contacted me and said, why don't you mentor women? Women are struggling to cope with the workplace and home. And why don't you help them? Show them the journey you walked through. I said, it sounds like a great idea, but let me go qualify myself. So I went and did a course, 6 months course. I did an exam and got myself certified as a leadership coach, wellness coach, and a life coach. And much later, I even did my ICF, International Coaches Federation exam, and I'm a certified coach. And then I said, okay, now let me work on it. And I started working with men and women. And I realized my passion lay with women. I just wanted to help women break the glass ceiling. And that's when we realized that fit the soul, we create women leaders. And what do I do when I love my life? So this is Everest Base Camp. We're climbing that. This is one of my nicest pictures. This is my doing Kilimanjaro. And we are crossing what we call the Kissing Rock. So there is a ledge at the bottom, which is 1 foot wide. And there's a deep 5,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet ravine. And you have to walk on a 1 foot ledge. So you have to literally kiss that rock and walk. So that's why it's called the Kissing Rock. You have to kiss the rock and just keep walking, because if you don't balance forward towards the rock, you balance backward and you're into the ravine. You can see the head guide standing there because they're making sure that you don't fall, but there is nobody standing below. So this is one of my most amazing pictures. I was really glad somebody actually took this picture. And this is the top on top of Kilimanjaro. This is on top of Mount Kinabalu. This was in Scotland. And this was in Wales. Pembrokeshire, Cardiganshire. We did a walking holiday there. I did with another Malayali friend of mine. So just really, I mean, when I'm climbing a mountain, for me, the world just stops. So when I show my pictures, my niece asked me, Jessica, why do you come back? I said, I come back to live in this world, to live back here home. And so that 6 months later, I can go running back to my mountains. Really, the mountains just change you. Either you love it or you hate it. This is some of the other things I do. In 2007, my husband took us to Singapore, and we had to go on the cable car to Sentosa Island. And I was frightened. All of us were scared of heights. So I've come a long way from 2007. And a lot of times my CET friends have been party to it. So here's one of Siad's classmates, Lata and I. We were in Tenerife, and we went on a yacht. And this was in Dubai. I did skydiving. There also, the person who came with me was Parvati, who was my roommate in CET. And this was parasailing in Malaga. This was a hot air balloon in Pushkar in Rajasthan. And this is very interesting. We are doing a snowmobile over a frozen barren sea in Norway. My friend and I decided to celebrate our 50th birthday, going to Norway to see the Northern Lights. And I've never driven a scooter in India. And there they gave us a snowmobile and said, one of you drive. And she's even shorter than me. She says, Jessie, you drive. So I've never driven a scooter. And here I am driving a snowmobile on top of a frozen barren sea. Wow, look at it. What an experience. And what we also did was we stayed in an ice hotel. While I was doing architecture, I was always enamored by this ice hotel. And I always told myself, one day I want to go live in this ice hotel. So our last day of our Norway trip, we stayed at an ice hotel. And we actually saw the Northern Lights for 4 days in a row. It was amazing. One of those really rare treats that, I mean, most people don't get to see for 4 days, but we saw it in full glory. What is this? This is one of my most fantastic treks. We trekked in minus 30 degrees Celsius in Ladakh. A friend of mine called me and said, Jessie, what about heating? I said, heating? How do you spell heating? Nothing. Look at this frozen roads. And these footprints you see are the pug marks of the snow leopard. There's nothing. There was just 4 of us trekkers, our 2-3 guides, and nothing else. Just God and his beautiful creation. We started our trek at minus 20 degrees from Leh, and we reached camp at minus 25 degrees Celsius. And we slept at minus 30 degrees Celsius. There's another Malayali couple with me, and at night she asked me, Jessie, do you think my toes will fall off? I wanted to laugh because I had no idea if our toes would fall off. We had never trekked at that temperature. But even today, when we talk about it, it was one of the most amazing treks. The beauty we saw was, look at this. This is taken on my iPhone. I mean, simple, old-fashioned, one of the old iPhones. But look at the beauty. Look at the unspoiled nature. You need to get away from people. You need to get away from cars and noise to see real beauty, real nature. So what do I do today? Like I told you, I work with women. And what do? Fit the soul, we create women leaders. And our mission to equip and empower 1 million women by 2030. This is my trek in Great Lakes of Kashmir. Great Lakes of Kashmir is supposed to be the most prettiest trek in India. And it is absolutely pretty. And, you know, no filmmaker can come there because no vehicles can go. Then this is footpath in most places, just over foot. So if you can't climb, and you climb for about, the first day we climb for about an hour. After we don't see people. We just see about 3 or 5 shepherds. We see about 5,000 sheep. And if there's another trekking group passing by, you see them, but nothing else. Just beautiful meadows, alpine lakes, and snow-clad mountains. Even in summer, that's what you see there. And this is India. This is Kashmir, very, very close to Srinagar. Beautiful, amazing stuff. How do we do this for women? How do we create women leaders? We excite, engage, empower, and we ourselves embody the change that we want to see in women. We help women reach the pinnacle of their life. We want to see more women in C-suites. We did a lot of research on Trivandrum. And in Kerala, we found that at entry level, women are 65% of the recruitment at Technopark. At CXO level, we are 1.2%. And this is not a Trivandrum statistics. This is not a Kerala or India statistics. This is global statistics. Women don't cross those numbers at C-suite level. I've spoken to many of CETians who run companies, who founded companies. They all say, Jessie, we don't have those numbers on top. I said, we need to create those numbers. We will work with you. As companies, you give us some of your women. We will work with you with them for a year or two. And we will get them there. We will start at grassroots level. Do you know we are working with CET extensively? 2 years ago, we picked 12 girls from S5 to S6 from every branch. So we asked the college to pick 4 girls from every branch, all the branches. And then we shortlisted. Do you know which branch got the maximum number of girls who were selected? Mechanical. In our time, there were no girls in mechanical, but all the 4 girls in mechanical were so smart. And the second, of course, was architecture. Come on, I'm from architecture, but the girls were really smart. And the girls who didn't get qualified at all from electronics, applied electronics. Not even one girl got selected. So we worked with 12 girls that year. 2 of them got into IIMs and all of them got really good jobs. And they all said it's because of the leadership boot camp we did for them. So we said, okay, it's not fair to do it for 12 girls. So this year we said, we'll pick all the 350 girls and we will shortlist and we'll pick about 250 and we'll work with them. And some of the men said, why are you shortlisting? Why are you not choosing men? I said, first, there are many people to work with men. Let me work with women. My passion is women. Second is, I do not want to take everybody. They should feel that they have earned it. They should feel it's a privilege. It's an honor to be working with the soul and to become a woman leader. I should be allowed to go. No, I said no. We will not choose girls like that. It's not about communication. I said, I want fire in the belly. I want a desire to win. I want a desire to be a leader. That's what we're looking for. Not highest marks, highest scores, all of that. We are looking for girls with a fire in the belly. And that's how we want to empower them and create leaders, even as they start their work career. So what are the programs we do? One very, very popular program is called the Sensible Woman. It's financial independence for women. Most of us women are married to very smart men who take care of all the finance. When I ran the architectural company, I ran the finance for the company and we won awards after awards for finishing on budget, below budget. But my personal finance was always handled by my husband. So year before, when we were doing an upskilling program, I asked a lot of women, what do they want to learn? 85 out of the 100 women said they wanted to learn about money, investment, mutual funds, inheritance, different things. That's when I realized that all the women were struggling like me. So we created the Sensible Woman program to help women take control of life and finance and empowerment through learning how to take care of your finance and to learn how to let your money grow your money. Okay, not that you keep, because I always complain that we in engineering colleges, medical colleges were taught to be the smartest in the class, to be working hardest and getting the highest marks, getting the best jobs and getting the best promotions. Nobody told us how to invest our money. Nobody told us what to do with our money. So this is what happens to most of us technocrats. And I want to change that for women. Another program we do is Skill in It. We help women learn 3 new skills a year. How do I embody that change? I learn 6 new skills a year. Last year, I gave myself a challenge of learning 6 new skills. I did it. This year also, I have now listed out my 6 skills. One of it, interesting one, was I want to do solo kayaking. Okay, I had done a little kayaking, not much. I had learned with my daughter, but I learned last year how to do solo kayaking. And since October, every month I've gone kayaking at a different place. I've done Ganga at Rishikesh. I've done Kaveri down in Karnataka. I've done the Indian Ocean in Maldives. And just now, last week, we went to the Paikara Reservoir and I kayaked there. This year, canoeing is one of my things. And also, I learn a language every year. I mean, I learned French. I've been learning French last year, and now this year I'm continuing to learn French. Yeah, Babu, it's not German, but I'm learning French. So I learn a language. I learn an art. I paint. So last year I told myself I would do a palette knife painting. I did 3 canvases. So I can give myself a target. So we help women learn new skills. New skills help create new neural pathways in your brain, keeps away Alzheimer's, makes you smarter, makes you more interesting to talk to, makes you create more stories, and you become much more interesting conversationalist. It creates a new you. And this is a community-based initiative where we help people in this group help each other learn. We help companies grow their business. So I have partners in this. So I work with PK on this, and we worked with others on that. What else do we do? This is break the mold, communication. We do a lot of seminars for women. We work with this leadership bootcamp for CET work comes under this. So we work with schools where we teach girls how to play multiple sports, how to understand how to become a leader, how to become a team player. In this day of one child, half a child, what we do is that we shelter them so much. They don't know how to be a team player. We teach these girls how to become team players. We teach them how to break the mold, how to be different, and how to show that you're a leader. And then we do the art of storytelling, we do networking, we do mentoring, we do goal setting. We have lots of different modules that we do for corporates. You can't pour out from an empty cup. Take care of yourself. Most of us are an empty cup. We have run ourselves dry inside. I always say our potential energy is 0 because we are so tired of doing everything. So what do? We work on your wellness. We help you write your wellness story. We help you take care of take control of your wellness. When you take control of your wellness, and when you know how to take care of it, then your potential energy starts filling up. Your inner cup starts filling up. And that's what we want every woman to do. And all of this is embodied through life coaching. I have so many people who come to me and say, listen, there was an architect who came to me and she said, I want to change from, I'm doing houses. I don't want to be a house architect. I want to do something else. She told me what she wanted to do. In 4 months, I helped her achieve what she wanted to do. I had a young lawyer who came to me and she said, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to do so many other things, but I don't really know what I want to do. And she came to me. Within 4 months, I got her a job that she loved doing. And it embodied all her aspirations. So we do many of these. I do career transition to retirement, transitioning to a different life, different career. All of this we do, and we do it through life coaching. All of these are different tools we use to help you get to leadership. Each one is a step in leadership. So what do you believe in? First, ask yourself this question. Who are you? And who would you like to be? So Jerry and Babu and Siad and all knew me from college days. They knew me as a different Jessie. Siad has seen, and even Babu has seen many, many different journeys of mine. And they all seen different parts of me. But who am I today? How did I get here? You could start asking these questions. Who am I? And who would I like to be? And what do I believe in? If I believe in something, how do I make it happen? And I am not saying you go and fight with your husband or your mother-in-law and your children and you walk out of that. No, we are trying to see how you can achieve all of this while keeping your sanctity intact, while keeping your family fabric together. And how do you do this? How do you become a better parent? My kids, my son will call me and say, Ma, what's your latest travel? Where are you going? What are you doing? They just love to hear what I do. They're very encouraging of this because they know that makes me a whole person and that makes me a better mother. During COVID, I want to learn how to use Zoom. So my daughter said, Ma, why don't you just start a cooking class? I love cooking. Okay, I love trying out different exotic cooking. And what I realized was lots of women wanted to make great dishes, but they didn't know how. So I created a channel to make exotic cooking easy. And I started on April 5th last year when the first lockdown happened. Till December 31st of 2021, I ran it for 1.5, almost 1 year, 9 months. And then I closed it in December of last year, because I said, listen, I got to do so many other things. But I had people from across the world who would log in. I had somebody from Namibia, from US, many, many states, from Amsterdam, Middle East, every country in the Middle East. Then, of course, India, everywhere. I had people from Australia, or barring Antarctica, every continent was represented in my cooking class. And I used to do it on Zoom every Sunday evening, 5:30. The only Sunday I didn't have it was when I had COVID in 2020. Otherwise, every Sunday we had it 5:30. And they were all looking forward to it. And one of our CETN's wife said, oh, I've only gone to Jessie's school of baking. She said she had no clue. She's a top professional. And she said, I'd never cooked in my life. I didn't know, but you taught me how to make it simple and how to do it. So this is what I do. I just do many, many things and I just enjoy it. And you become a much fuller person. You become a much happier person. And because that, you become much happier with your family when you do all of this. So don't restrict yourself. In all of this, let me tell you, a cousin of mine called me last year and she said, Jessie, can you give me Mohan's number? I would have given Mohan's number. I mean, my husband's number. I mean, why not? I asked her, why do you want it? And she said, I want to ask him why he's letting you loose like this. Okay, this was hilarious. I said, Chechi, my husband doesn't have a problem. My kids don't have a problem. What's your problem? And I realized that in our society, they want to put you into a box. They want you to put yourself into a box and keep you there. If you don't do it, the good Samaritan like her will come and put you in a box. Don't let anybody put you in a box. You need to get out of that box. Break the mold, break the box, let yourself fly and soar high. What are we doing this year? This year, we're having a series of webinars every Thursday from February 3rd. Every Thursday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. India time, we have a webinar. We have a webinar with Ashley, who talks about the uniqueness of you. We have Santosh, who again does a sensible woman money management and taking control of your finances. Then I do leadership and wellness and upskilling. Then we have Pratima, who will come in and she's going to do design thinking. Right through the year, we are going to have these talks from February all the way to December. And we are charging a royal sum of 2,200 rupees for the whole year, for 48 sessions. The whole idea is not to make money. The whole idea is to empower more and more and more women. So all of you, tell your spouses, see, look at this. The first one is, dear future me. What's a letter you're going to write to your dear future self? What is that you want to tell yourself that you want to do from 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Then the next one is Goal 9 Yards. That's about understanding your finances and not being a settler. Then discovering the uniqueness of you. And key to your future leader, skill in it. This is just February session. And then we have March and April and June and July and August and September. It just goes on. This is again back to my Ladakh, minus 30 degrees Celsius. Just look at this. This is when trekking in minus 30 degrees Celsius, you have a whole mountain of snow. You have a mountain of little snow and you have greenery. Can you see this? How beautiful is this? You have to step out of your comfort zone and get out of where you stay and move out and watch the world with new lenses. And then you become a new you, new creation. Thank you. That was it.
Wow. Out of words, actually.
Yeah.
That was too good, Jay. That was too good.
Yeah.
Too good. What a path-breaking and an unconventional journey, full of inspiration and a lot of takeaways for the audience, especially for women. As a woman, I am empowered. I'm sure most of us are. And thank you so much for sharing your wonderful, adventurous journey with us. I'm sure many of our members have questions in their mind because since it's an interactive webinar, we'll take some questions. So here is an opportunity to ask questions to Jessie. Audience, if you have questions, just raise your hands or using the reaction button, or you can raise your hand. I will call up one by one. I can see the hands being raised.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
All right, let me just check.
And if they have sent you the questions earlier, you can ask those also. There's no problem. Happy to answer any of them in whichever order.
Well, no worries. Okay, I'm gonna call upon Kochurani. Since you know her, yeah, she has raised the hand. So over to you, Kochurani.
You're muted, Kochurani.
You have to unmute yourself, Kuchurani.
Okay. Hello, Jessie.
Hello.
Could you tell us about the main challenges you expected when you were planning to change your field?
When I was trying to change my field, like my classmate Sushil said, they said, Jessie, how can you do this? You have wasted an architectural seat. I said, no, 18 years I worked as an architect. I have done so many prestigious offices, stores in Bangalore and in India, all over. And people knew me for who I was as one of the top architects. So I haven't wasted it. And today, many of my clients are my past clients in architecture. So it was a challenge because even my family, some of my extended family felt I was, stepping into the unknown when I knew what I was doing in architecture and I didn't know what I was doing here. But I felt so passionately about women that I wanted to do this.
Thank you.
Well answered. We have Tanin Thomas here. Over to you, Tanin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Tanin. I'm 2001 architecture pass out.
Okay, nice.
So when I heard about your webinar, I was so excited to ask you a lot of questions. But many of this has been already answered by you during your inspiration talk, which we had today. But the one of the question I was looking for is that now the journey of 34 years of long journey you had from the college.
Yeah.
What do you like to be called? Jessie Jacob, an architect, or a Jessie Jacob, a leadership coach?
Jessie Jacob. She creates women leaders.
This is although I need to ask, why only women leaders?
Yeah, this is something I'm fighting with the CETA Placement Association all the time. They say, why only women leaders? Because the world over, it is always slanting towards the men. And they always say it is equal opportunities thing where the men and women are given same opportunity. No. So what happens is that the women are so busy doing two jobs that their kinetic energy is in 100, on a scale of 100, it's between 20 and 30. Potential energy is single digits. Okay. And for men, you are only doing one job. So your kinetic energy is 80, 85. Your potential energy is almost 100. So when they are asked to make the jump, the man makes the jump, the woman makes the jump. And they say, oh, she didn't make it. No, we want to work on their potential energy and their kinetic energy. Get that up to speed as the guys. Then when they jump, the women will jump higher than the men. So that's why I work with women.
But still, you didn't answer me what you like to have to be called.
Jessie Jacob, she creates women leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tannen. We have Shivaraman who has raised the hand. Over to you, Shivaraman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It was a nice speech from Jessie. I enjoyed it. I'm from 1991, applied
Okay.
classmate of chairman. Okay, see, Sia during his introductory speech, he was telling you were into theater group during CET days. Was it your passion? And do you have that passion now also? Are you serious into acting and all?
So I would love to act. So now let me tell you that there is a potential director producer sitting in this group called Babu Taliat. Okay. He's my batch. Babu did engineering, and then he went and did theater, and then he went into German. He's a postdoc in German. And he says he's going to produce a movie. Side role. He doesn't think we are good enough for him. So I always tell it is one of the skills that I'm going to do. I'm going to get back into theater in Bangalore. I would love to do it. I've not done it ever since college got over, and I would love to get back into theater.
Okay, good. Wish you all the best.
Interestingly, we have Babu Taliat who has raised the hand. So let's hear his question.
Yeah, I don't know whether I have a question. So I'm so happy to see you, Jessie, in these times and online, but that's fine. That we used to meet in Bangalore when I came to Bangalore. And Jessie is my batchmate. And let me introduce myself like that. And also all these references in the introduction to the theater group. I have very fond memories of that. Though I was not involved directly, I was a screen printer. I printed the poster, don't forget, for Pygmalion, and then I think Oscar Wilde's that importance of being Ernst. Then later, I don't know whether you are a part of it. No, you are not there. You are not there. And one more thing, I wanted to be in your class, actually. Obviously, got attracted by architecture, girls, obviously. I mean, not that civil was bad. And I got architecture in the chance interview. What happened? I was about to take it, and Jerry came. Jerry said, no, Babu, don't take it. Architecture is so difficult. And he was planning to move into industry or something. And he didn't do that, and I didn't take architecture.
Is there?
Yes, I got architecture. And but then we met in various venues like election, theater, and this and that. And it's so wonderful. And I'm so happy that you're doing French also. And I must tell you that I reached C1 in Spanish. I'm completing my Spanish. Yes. And this is one I would tell everyone, learn language all the time, after you go 50 and all. And of course, I know about all your activities and I'm well updated. I just want to ask you one question, because your speech is what a coincidence, because I'm a bit late in all this. Today, I decided to change my life. And you're so inspiring. And it's a bit late that today I bought a yoga mat, a good German product, and tomorrow I'm starting. So I have to, because I have to reduce my weight. I just want to ask one question. In this process of, first of all, doing all this trekking, reducing your weight, and all these activities, obviously your body changed. How did you feel inside? That's my question. This gradual change, and because the body influenced the mind, and how was that change that you felt inside, and that eventually influenced your thinking, your perspectives, and your day-to-day life? That's what I want to ask you.
One is I realized I was no longer competing with anybody else.
Oh,
In
yeah,
architecture, we are always competing. Here, I realized I was competing with myself. I was running a marathon for myself. I was climbing a mountain. When you climb a mountain, there's no first and last. Either you climb or you don't climb. There's nothing. There's no snow. So it's all about you breaking your own barriers. You creating new benchmarks for yourself. You are competing now only with yourself. So every time, what are the barriers you want to break? Like when Babu's a postdoc in German, he's coming to a C1 and level in Spanish. It's amazing. It's completely different kind of a language. So I'm just now a baby student. I finished A2 in French, but I'm just a baby student in French. But even then, it took me a long time to figure this out, to learn it. So you're always competing with yourself. I'm not competing with Babu, but I'm still hoping Babu will give me a small role in his movie.
Sure. No, I'm going to Toledo, and I'm starting my work. Promise you. Next time when we meet in Bangalore, so I'll have a contract.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm so happy to meet you.
Villain role
Oh, yeah, definitely. I create a role for you. So.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Babu sir. And now we have more hands raised. I call upon Nisha Babu. You can ask your question.
Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Nisha.
Actually, I'm not from your college. My husband is.
Okay.
So I was thinking of asking something about my husband to you, because I heard that you both were almost.
Sorry?
Good question. To ask, after hearing your story and after hearing about all these inspiring things which you have done. So first I thought I'll ask about the mountaineering and how you did all these things. But then you told everything in a very good sequence, and this thing, no questions for that. But how did you stick on to this 14 kg reduce? That is what, every 2 years I reduce 10 kg, then I put on it the same kg back. How do you control your craving? And I know you said it's not good, sugar, atta, maida, but even if I control all these things, how do you control your craving for sweets, and how do I not put on the weight back?
So everything is about tiny habits. Okay. So I mean, when your child was putting her finger in the mouth, how did you stop it? It took a long time. It took many, many little habits. So all cravings are about tiny habits. How do you create tiny habits to stop it? So I'm a diabetic. My whole family is a family of diabetics. My brother would call and say, sugar factory, that's how we greet each other. Okay. So the thing is that for me, sugar is a huge problem, and my medication had gone up so much. So then I said, I have to do it. So what have I done? I have created sweets without sugar. I have sugar-free chocolates. I have sugar-free fudge. I make all kinds of different things that and I feel the craving, I can manage it. So we have to learn to do this. So I mean, in my some of those sessions, we do tiny habits. We do how to set goals, how to maintain goals, all of that. In that, we work it out. In fact, recently I did a session and I asked women, so many women are there. I said, how many of you all set goals this year? Nobody. They said, we are so tired because every year we set goals and we can't keep it. We just stop setting goals. So how do you set goals that you can keep? So we work on all that. And connect with me after this, and then,
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Ruxana. Ruxana, over to you.
Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Ruxana.
Yes, I am from 1998 civil batch.
Yeah.
So you create women leaders, right?
Yes.
So what kind of program would you specifically recommend for us, the ladies group here in CETAAQ? And how can we further go about this? That's my question.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. All of you women can get in touch with me. For first is that I showed you the last 2 pages, what the programs we're doing. So let me also just put, so fit _the_soul. If you can go on to, I mean, that is my Insta handle. Okay, I put it on the group. So go on to my Insta handle and follow me, because all our programs come on it. But for your CETAAQ women, we can do a specific program. I do specific programs for specific groups. Yeah. So I do different programs. So depending on what your needs are, we can do a leadership program. We can do mentoring program. We can do a coaching program. We can do different things. So we can create goals for you guys, which we can sort of work around. Okay. So if one of your spokespersons, Jeffy, or you can get in touch with me, my number, my Insta handle, all that are there on the chat. So feel free to join me and to connect with me, and happy to work with you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to come to Qatar, because one of my finest trips was going through Qatar to Zimbabwe. I spent 3.5 days there. First afternoon, I cycled across the gorge. Next morning, I went down 2,000 feet and I did whitewater rafting grade 5 at the gorge of Victoria Falls. And of course, I went and walked and saw the thing. The next morning, I did zip lining across the gorge and I went across to Zambia. That evening, I went and sat on the edge of Victoria Falls, actually on the edge of Victoria Falls. And the next morning, I took a microlight flight over the Victoria Falls. And that afternoon, I left. What an amazing journey. And on my way back, I had lunch, biryani lunch with Siad.
ഇതൊക്കെ കേട്ടിട്ട് we are like pandemic എന്ന end we need to get out of
ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒരു മൗണ്ടൻ ക്ലൈംബ് ചെയ്യും മിക്കവാറും അല്ലേ
why should it stop you? You Qatar women, I will work with you. We'll start
ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്
നമുക്ക് സിംബാബ്വേക്ക് പോവാം എല്ലാരും കൂടെ ഞാൻ അവിടെ കൊണ്ടുപോയി ഇതെല്ലാം ചെയ്യിപ്പിച്ചിട്ട് തിരിച്ചോണ്ടാം
കിളിമഞ്ചാരോ is also tempting.
നമുക്ക് ഇവിടുത്തെ സീ ലൈനിലെ ആദ്യം സാൻഡ് ഡ്യൂൺസ് ക്ലൈംബ് ചെയ്ത് അവിടെ തുടങ്ങാം.
ആണോ സബീന? ആദ്യം വീട്ടിലെ മൗണ്ടൻ ക്ലൈംബ് ചെയ്യും.
വീട്ടിലെ സ്റ്റെയർ
അല്ല, സബീനയുടെ വീട്ടിലെ മൗണ്ടൻ.
ഞാനൊരു മോളിലാണ്.
Sorry?
മോളിലാണ്, മൗണ്ടൻ അല്ല.
Okay. Any other questions? Kavi has a question.
That is a different topic. We'll talk later.
All right. We have a young lady, Sharanya, who has raised her hand. Sharanya, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Jeffy. Hi, ma'am. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. It was really nice to hear your experience, and you talked a lot about the trekking, and you said for the first time you trekked to the Everest. And how was your experience? And did you face any challenges since it's your first time? And can you?
I also did pulmonary edema. I had low oxygen. I had all. But I managed it. See, the whole thing about trekking is like some of my friends in Toronto said, Jessie is actually not a big trekker. She just stops, her brain just stops working. And then she just says, one step. She just says that and she reaches her destination. Correct, that's correct. And I stopped my brain thing. Because if you start making your brain think, you'll never reach those heights. You have to train for 3 to 4 months. Vigorous training, hard training, all of that. Any trek you have to do. And before Kilimanjaro, I had actually busted my leg. I had gone into therapy and all that. And my friends from Trivandrum, all doctors, okay? So I said, listen, what do I do? I busted my leg. He said, okay, you figure out what you want to do. So I went off to therapy. And then he then called all his Trivandrum Medical College guys, and they formed a group. My leg is all right. I want to come for Kilimanjaro. He says, I said, if you will promise you'll take care of me, I'll come. And then sign up. Then 2 more women came. So 13 people, 11 doctors from Trivandrum Medical College, and 2 of us illiterates, as I call it, 1 banker and 1 architect. We went 3 women, 10 men. We went and climbed Kilimanjaro and came back. It's all about determination and hard work and perseverance.
Really inspiring, ma'am.
Amazing. Thank you, Sharanya. Now we have Kavita Nair. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Jessie. How are you?
Well, Kavita.
Midway through the session, right?
Yes.
Probably towards the end. Okay. Now you have had a couple of trekking sessions, right? So any major learnings or something memorable you have had during these sessions?
Trekking sessions.
Yeah, trekking sessions.
Trek is a memorable session. Next time Everest Base Camp, I thought I would never reach the top because I had serious pulmonary edema. At 16,500 feet, I lost my breath. I had no breath left. And that evening we reached the night before we actually reached Everest Base Camp. And that night the trek leader said, Jesse, you don't have enough oxygen in your oximeter oxygen. And he said, if you don't have enough oxygen, you can't trek. If we give you oxygen or we airlift you or we move you down, you are abandoning the trek. You can only come on your own strength. Oxygen I cannot get in any other way. I am going to sleep. I was so tired. I couldn't even eat anything. I was just so sick. Because I had enough oxygen. So they said, okay, you can trek. But I had not eaten anything. Hot chocolate. That doesn't give you energy. So in my mind, 16,500 was the place I would get pulmonary edema. In my mind, I knew that I had a feeling that that was the maximum I should be doing. 18,000 feet on Everest Base Camp. So next time when we were doing a Ladakh trip, we were doing a driving and trekking trip and all that. In my mind, I said, I want to do 16,500. So my trek guide, same guide, he said, why? I said, Vikram, last time at 16,500, I got my pulmonary edema. So I want to cross that because that was like and we crossed it 2 or 3 times. And I didn't even have Diamox. Diamox is the medicine we normally have for when we do this.
Oxygen gets low.
Yeah. So normally for big treks, we do Diamox, Kilimanjaro, all that we did Diamox. But here I didn't do Diamox. I did twice 16,500. With that, I broke that. So every trek has something that comes to you and you know it's a demon in your head. And the only way to get rid of that demon in your head is to challenge it.
Challenge yourself at each and every step of it, right?
That demon. So when you've had a car accident, you're scared to drive a car. So what does your friend or your spouse or somebody tells you? You drive, go back and do. So like that, I had to do this. I went to whitewater rafting. I've done it many times. I've done it in Zimbabwe. I've done everywhere. But last year, my husband, my daughter, and I went to Rishikesh. And the first rapid, we toppled over. I'd never fallen into the water. In my mind, 3 blind mice were smiling. This time I went back. I went twice over 3 blind mice because I had to get the demon out of my head. I had to get the demon that 3 blind mice is where I would fall. So anytime there is something like that, there's a demon in your head, go face it head.
Face the fear, kill it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
I think you can invite some gents also.
Yes. We have
partiality.
She empowers women a lot, so I have to be partial.
But a potential energy koodi povonnru samshayam avade.
So let me call upon Rajiv.
Good evening, Jyoti ma'am.
Good evening.
Myself, Rajiv. I'm 2001 batch.
Okay.
Yeah, completed my applied electronics and instrumentation from CET. So I have a question for you. Like no personal life. Sometimes, like we hit low. Like we feel like nothing is working on our.
Absolutely.
Whatever we do, we struggle to come out of that well. Nothing works out. In your life, somewhere, and did you face any such point? And if it happened, how did you really overcome?
All the time we go through this, we will go through a low point. If you do not go through a low point, you're not normal. Okay, so when you go through a low point, you feel your whole life has come to a stop. So I had gone and climbed Mount Kinabalu, and I had torn my meniscus. And I came back. I couldn't cross the road. Dinner my husband and his friends. About the friend's wife said, restaurant. I said, Joe, I can't walk. I can't cross the road. I'm standing there in pain. And I'm thinking my life is over. And the trekking life is over. Road cross what is there left for you? I cannot run. I cannot trek. Then I went off to a detox in Kerala. അവിടെ പോയി 2 ആഴ്ച നിന്ന് എൻ്റെ കാലിനെ എല്ലാം ശരിയാക്കി. I came back and I was part of a running group. When I came back, they told me, come back and run. I said, no, I cannot run. I cannot walk. They said, okay, come join us. They're very good. They said, come, you walk. So I used to just walk with them. അവരെല്ലാം ഓടും ഞാനോ. അവസാനമായപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, okay, I'll run 1 minute. I will run 1 minute, walk 5 minutes. Okay. അപ്പം എൻ്റെ കൂടെ റൺ ചെയ്യുന്ന എല്ലാവരും വലിയ ഫുൾ മാരത്തോണേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെയാണ്. ഞാൻ ഈ 1 minute ഓടുന്ന എല്ലാവരും കൈ കൊട്ടുന്ന ഈ കമന്റ് പാർക്കിലാണ്. So everyone's clapping, everyone's saying, wow, just see this show. ഞാൻ എംബാസഡർ എല്ലാവരും വെക്കും ഞാൻ വലിയ സൂപ്പർ റണ്ണർ. അവർക്കറിയത്തില്ല എൻ്റെ കാലം മിനിസ്കസ് സ്റ്റെയറിൽ ഞാൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് 1 minute ആണ് റൺ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. But you have to start like you have to start with baby steps. How do you eat an elephant? നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ആനയെ തിന്നുന്നേ? Is
that what you meant?
You can only eat it like you eat beef or mutton fry. You can only eat it in small pieces like this. So namakku oru problem varumam, it's just a mountain. You cannot cross that mountain. You break it into small beef pieces. So I decided, okay, I can never maybe trek in my life, but let me heal that leg. I just went to, and I just in my mind thought I will never trek. This was before Kilimanjaro. എന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ ചെയ്തില്ല. 4 months later, I climbed Kilimanjaro. 4 months later.
That's great.
But it takes a lot of effort and lot of grit. I came and met some surgeon, super surgeon in Coimbatore. എല്ലായിടത്തും പോയി എല്ലാ ദൈവങ്ങളെയും കണ്ടു ഞാൻ. ഡോക്ടർ ദൈവമാരെ എല്ലാവരെയും കണ്ട് എല്ലാ ട്രീറ്റ്മെന്റും ചെയ്ത് എല്ലാ ഫിസിയോയും ചെയ്യേണ്ടി എല്ലാം ചെയ്ത്. Even now I have to, my leg is fully busted up. I still have lots of problems. So I have to be very, very careful and do it in little bits. But I still manage a trek every year.
Okay, thanks, ma'am. And just want to add one more question to that. You seems to have a lot of, that kind of motivation comes in. Where actually you're getting such like enormous amount of motivation?
That is just me. I'm very high energy. So, it's just me. I mean, I just have so much of energy. I need to channel it. So I create more and more different things to do. And I see what I like to do. And I have a lot of women friends. So I call them up and ask them, when I ask them, what are the 3 skills you want to learn? We don't know any skills. We don't want to learn anything. I can't tell you anything. I said, okay, Sherry. Then I keep talking to them. Within half an hour, if I talk to them for 20 minutes, I'll get 3 skills that they want to learn. You give me anybody, I will find out what skills they want to learn. I will find out what dreams they have, and I will help you get there. And I love to see a challenge. ഒരു മല കണ്ട അത് കയറണം. അതുപോലെ ഇപ്പൊ സിയാദിന് ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് സോൾവ് ചെയ്യണം. So yeah, I'm using you because you're my friend, okay? So അങ്ങനെ, so when
എന്റെ പ്രോബ്ലം ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കുവാണ്.
He's your solution. The light of your life.
Sure.
പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്ക, അങ്ങനെ ആരെങ്കിലും ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കാം.
അടി കൊടുക്കാം.
If you can solve that problem, then she will be solved, you know.
She is the solution.
And then men always think like that.
രണ്ടടി വാങ്ങിയാ മതി, അപ്പൊ പ്രോബ്ലം സോൾവ് ആകും.
പണ്ടിന് സിയാദിന് കൊച്ചിലെ അടി കൊടുക്കാത്തതാണ് പ്രോബ്ലം, അമ്മ കൊഞ്ചിച്ച് വളർത്തിയതാണ് പ്രോബ്ലം.
ഇപ്പൊ പുള്ളിക്കാരുടെ വാങ്ങിച്ചാലും മതി, ലേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടില്ല.
അതിന്റെ അപ്പുറത്തെ ഒരു ലൈറ്റ് കത്തുന്ന പോലെ തോന്നി, ഇപ്പഴാ മനസ്സിലായ സബീനായിരുന്നു.
എനിക്ക് വയ്യ.
അതെ, അത് വോൾട്ടേജ് ചിലപ്പോ കൂടുന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഒരു പ്രശ്നം.
അവിടെ ദിനേശന്റെ അടുത്ത് ആരും ഇരിപ്പില്ലേ? എനിക്കൊരു സംശയം.
വോൾട്ടേജ് മാറിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
അടുത്തിരുത്ത്, അപ്പൊ ശരിയാവും.
I think Jasim has a question.
Yes, I think Jasim Jamal. Jasim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. Thanks, Jeffy. Thanks, ma'am. That was a fascinating presentation. And I just have a comment when you said that about taking baby steps. Recent learning that I heard, doing things perfect is the enemy of getting things done.
Absolutely.
So don't try to get things perfect. You try to take things one at a time, and then things become easy.
Absolutely.
Anyway, my question to you, you've led a fascinating life, lot of interesting adventures. Did you ever think when you were in CET or before that your life would end up this way? I mean, all of us think about going into corporate life or becoming engineers or architects. Did you ever think at that time, or did any of those dreams or passions fuel what now you're going through?
No. Do we know what the future has? Did we know 2 years ago that we'd be in a pandemic and the whole world would come to a standstill? We don't know. So we must be agile. In our mind, we must be ready to change, always. So at 40, I used to tell my daughter, at 50, I won't be an architect. She says, Mama, at 80, you'll be doing this. I said, I won't be doing, I won't be. She says, you'll be running around like a mad woman. I said, I may be running around like a mad woman, but I won't be running around like a mad architect. And the 40, 10 years later, I didn't realize, but 2 months before I turned 50, I closed my practice. Even then, I didn't know what I was going to do. I became a leadership coach. I was just doing wellness workshops, wellness programs. Why did I want to champion women's cause? I was in Trivandrum and I asked some of my cousins, name 3 power women of Trivandrum. And they could not name one. I asked them to name men. Sergeant Pillai, Shashita, Rurella, Perigaling. So I said, listen, you can name so many men and you can't name women. And there are 65,000 women who go to work in Trivandrum on a daily basis. I said, there's a much bigger story there. That's what got me fascinated. And I said, listen, I need to work with women and I need to move that 1.2% to 5% and then to 10%. And that was the beginning of it. So we keep changing, we keep morphing, we keep developing. We're still in the embryo stage. You know, so we will still end. Coronale might be an actress working in Babu's production. So we don't know. So the whole thing is that everything is loose and fluid right now.
You said that. Okay.
Interesting. We have Dia Maria, a daughter of Thelson Thomas. Do we have them here?
Yeah, I think we have her.
Yes. Hi, ma'am. My name is Dia, and your story was really inspirational. You took so many turns in life knowing that you will succeed in it. So how do you get so much confidence? Do you have a role model in life? It's like that?
I have many role models, but the thing is that when I take a turn in life, I don't know if I will succeed, but I am determined to succeed. I will leave no stone unturned. I will do whatever it takes to get there. So that is what I think makes me get there. Sometimes I fail, I flounder, and then I let go. Now I know I cannot do another Kilimanjaro. My leg won't be able to handle it. So what I do is I do smaller treks. So, it's okay. I mean, I can't run anymore. I can't do marathons anymore. So I stopped. So sometimes when you fail, you flounder, you just change your path, you change your direction. Instead of going to Kottayam, you decide to go to Mukumbanad, it's fine. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, ma'am.
Jeffy, I think only Dinesh is left now.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can conclude with Dinesh.
Jesse, ഞാനിവിടെ ഇതുവരെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത് 2006 ബാച്ച് എന്നാണ്. ബട്ട് ജെസ്സി നമ്മളൊക്കെ സെയിം ബാച്ചാണ്. ഞാൻ മെക്കാനിക്കലില് ആയിരുന്നു. ദിനേശ് ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ പിഗ്മാലിയനിൽ ഞാൻ ഒരു ചെറിയ റോൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് അലോങ് വിത്ത് യു. അന്ന് ഞാനും ജോജോയൊക്കെ അതിലൊരു പാർട്ടി സീൻ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, അതില് നമ്മളൊക്കെ കള്ളും കുടിച്ചോണ്ട് നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു സീനുണ്ട്. അതിൽ ഓക്കെ. ആൻഡ് ഞാൻ വേറെ ചോദ്യങ്ങളൊന്നും ചോദിക്കില്ല. ഐ എം ഓൾസോ പ്രീതി ഈസ് മൈ കസിൻ.
Preeti Nair, my classmate.
Yeah, Preeti, your classmate.
Dinesh is also your cousin.
Yes, Dinesh is also my cousin, and younger brother. Okay. And Siad is very close to me here. പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് സിയാദ് ഈ പിഗ്മാലിയനിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ ആ സമയത്ത്? He was there in that?
I was in the, I knew the whole Pygmalion batch, but the importance of being honest and adilellam I was involved, but not directly in Pygmalion.
Okay, we were all there. Ajay and Anthony and all were there. So അതൊരു ഭയങ്കര സക്സസ് ആയിരുന്നു ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ. That was a big success.
Can I give a little anecdote about that? So,
yes.
Anthony sold his bike to fund our Pygmalion.
Is it? Yes.
Nobody thought anybody would buy tickets to watch an English play in Trivandrum.
Yes.
So 500 seat hall il ഞങ്ങൾ
കാർത്തിക തിരുനാൾ അല്ലേ?
അല്ലല്ല, മരിക്കാർ ഹാൾ.
മരക്കാർ ഹാൾ ആയിരുന്നു.
ആ മരിക്കാർ ഹാളിൽ 500 സീറ്റ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ 800 സീറ്റ് വിറ്റു, 800 ടിക്കറ്റ് വിറ്റു. ബിക്കോസ് നോബഡി വിൽ കം ഫോർ ദിസ്. അങ്ങനെ ഞങ്ങൾ പൈസ ഉണ്ടാക്കാനായിട്ട് 800 ടിക്കറ്റ് വിറ്റു. 800 മനുഷ്യരും വന്നു.
ഭയങ്കര സക്സസ് ആയിരുന്നു, വളരെ ഹ്യൂജ് സക്സസ്. Okay, so anyway, the transformation from that to this, really wonderful. Nice to see you back. And എന്റെ വൈഫ് കണ്ടോണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പുള്ളിക്കാരി ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ സുമ, ഷീസ് ദർ. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഒരു ബ്രേക്ക് എടുത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ് ഫ്രം, ഷീസ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ, ഇവിടെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ഇപ്പൊ 15 years വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ഇപ്പൊ ബ്രേക്ക് എടുത്ത് ഇത് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ കുറെ ആർട്ട് റിലേറ്റഡ് സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ, her passion or the hobbies she's pursuing.
Nice.
And she's finding a lot of she's getting a lot of potential energy, as you are saying, from that.
Nice.
So maybe
just to add, actually Dinesh is our Mohanlal as well as
Prime Minister. Mohanlal, Prime Minister.
Evergreen.
ശരിക്കും
സ്കിൽസ് ആണ് ഇപ്പം വരെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നത്.
അന്നത്തെ പിഗ്മാലിയൻ ആണ് ഇപ്പോഴും ഓടിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, Jesse, all the best.
Thank you.
I have a question. ഒരു question ചോദിച്ചോട്ടെ ജെഫി?
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Okay. Jesse, what you have done is definitely ഭയങ്കര worthy ആണ്. I mean, but is it possible ഇപ്പം ഒരു മിഡ് കരിയറിൽ see, you need to have a financial background or a stable this thing to do all. Okay, you can do some, but to do whatever you have, I mean, the kind of things you have said, to try out, venture out. But when you look at the worldly things, I'm like a spouse under, pillar under, this thing. Now, suddenly 10 years back, I decided I'll quit and trek the mountains. But it may not be possible for everybody, right? It needs to come at some stage of your life. Or can people just do it? I mean, is it just about you're building this block in your mind because you are looking for excuses? How is it? How does it work? Is it possible for everybody?
So first of all, you don't go from 0 to 100 and 100 to 0. Okay, that doesn't work. You don't just quit your job and start climbing mountains or running. So I was running and climbing mountains while I was still an architect. So your work is here. your passions are zero, you start climbing this up. So somewhere it meets. Somewhere that's when you can start thinking of the transition. The second is that what we engineers are not taught is how to make our money grow. If you start working on making your money grow at a very early stage, then if you want to make that mid-career transition, that money which has worked for you will get you more than your salary is getting. But this was not taught to us. So that's why I use guys now to come and help women understand that. Did you know that if when your child was born, if you put 500 rupees a month into the child's account till he's 50, it becomes 4 crores. Okay. Did you know that at 25, if you put 3,000 rupees for 30 years, that became 1 crore? Nobody taught me this. Nobody told me that I could put this money in there and it would become that. So we have to learn how to be better money managers. And we have to teach our children how to do that. I can do a session for this, for the women on this, on the men for this, and the children. Even the children. Now we tell the kids, you get your birthday money. Put in 1,000 rupees a year into an account. When you start early, the power of compounding is huge. If your child starts putting in at 10 years old, these 1,000 rupees, much larger amounts won't grow as much as this child's money. See, that we were not taught all that. We were just taught to be smart and, get the best admissions and get the best jobs and get higher salary and higher salary and higher salary. So that's what we need to learn.
True. Thank you.
Rightly said. I think that's the end of a question answer session. And we are about to conclude. Just to summarize what Jessie had mentioned, I think I can just summarize in one sentence, which she started off with. When life serves you lemons, you make lemonades. Kidlam prayogana. Just break the barriers and try out new things. Get out of your comfort zone. So much inspiration, Jessie. We are very, very glad to have a guest like you. Now I invite Faris Ibrahim, the General Secretary, to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jessie. Thank you. First of all, I would like, first of all, let me, we have a small memento to Jessie ma'am. So unfortunately that we cannot hand over to you directly, but we will send it across. So I will just share a small picture as a memento. So please excuse us for that. I mean, yeah, this is a beautiful memento we have for you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So please accept this. So we will send it across very soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
So I would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you for being with us on this auspicious day. I hope everyone enjoyed every bit of this talk. And thank you, ma'am, and you done a very good speech and you inspired us a lot. I'm sure that would have benefited all of us who are very enthusiastic about adventurous journeys and all. And now we can expect a rush to go for a mountaineering after this very inspiring talk by you. And I'm sure that maybe the next time many of us will be accompanying you for this trekking and mountaineering. So I thank her wholeheartedly on my behalf and for the entire CETAAQ family for spending your valuable time with us. And thank you, Syed, for helping us to bring her to our program. And of course, our chairman, Thomas, to take an initiative to make this event a successful one. And once again, thank you everyone for joining us in this evening. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
So don't make it a sermon. We listen to sermons in church and satsangs and all that. By the time we reach home, we've forgotten what it is. So don't let the sun set on you on this. Start actioning it out. Start making a pledge and start taking baby steps.
Yeah, sure. Next time that many CETAAQians will be there for your trekking. Okay. But the thing is, actually, we CETAAQians are very lazy people. I mean, especially the men. So you have to hear us. Hello, no, we will accompany you, but you have to forcefully, I mean, you have to make us walk and all, especially for this trekking.
No, that is already messages have started coming in our group to organize a trekking trip.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, you can connect with us, and not just trekking. We should do leadership programs. We should do mentoring programs. We should do different programs. And you should now, because yours is a family program, CETAAQ. Now see how can you work with the women and the children, the next generation CETAAQs. How can you help them become leaders?
I have a suggestion for you.
Yes.
You should mentor men now. I mean, I think.
Babu, special for you. I will mentor you.
I'll join you, definitely.
No, I do mentoring.
Men need mentoring.
And women. Yeah,
CETAAQ also needs one. CETAAQ also needs one.
അല്ലല്ല ബാബുവിന് സ്പെഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ട് കൊടുക്കണം. ബാബു മൂവി എടുക്കണോണ്ടാണ്.
സത്യം ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ ഞങ്ങളോട് പറഞ്ഞു മറിയത്തിനെ മാത്രമേ സിനിമയ്ക്കകത്ത് എടുക്കത്തുള്ളൂ. വെരി ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ ഗേൾ ഇൻ ആ ബാച്ച് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പൊ മറിയത്തിനെ മാത്രമേ കൊടുക്കത്തുള്ളൂ. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ആർക്കും തരത്തില്ല.
No, that's not true.
So Jesse, what's your take on your experience? Generally, you give talks to professionals. They are professionals, but we are mostly like a family. So
this is for me family. CET is like family. I did the CETA Bangalore, CETA Qatar. It's the same. It's nice. It's just being like, being part of the family and, joking around and all that. It's nice. I enjoy this too.
Good.
Anyway, thank you, Jesse, for when I called you and you said you're more than happy to do it. And I hope it's been a good decision of yours to address our group here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a CETAAQ special. I told you that time itself.
Yeah. Thanks for not charging also.
That was the CETAAQ special.
Yeah. So at the end, everything has to come to an end. So,
So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesse. We'll be in touch. I will share your contact in our ladies group if anyone wants to get in touch with you. And also I will share your Instagram profile.
To both.
Yes.
Send to the men's group also, because men also work in companies there are women in their companies which they should work with.
Exactly. Yes. Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you so
All
much.
men have bosses in their house. Okay, so it's not that we don't work with women.
Okay. So men start nominating those bosses for these programs. Let's start with that.
No, why should we nominate? They can make their own decisions. See, we are already in your this one.
I've known him from 1985 onwards.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
11 p.m.
Right. Good night.
Thanks for organizing. Wonderful.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.